Within the story, Into the Pit is one of the most quietly important locations in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, Jeff's Pizza. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a rundown restaurant from the past, but beneath its surface lies a direct connection to the darker moments of the series' timeline. This video will explore how Jeff's Pizza ties into the origins of the Fazbear Entertainment's tragedies, a history preserved. Jeff's Pizza offers a window into what happened and what someone doesn't want us to remember. Jeff's Pizza, as seen in Into the Pit, appears to be a modest, run-down restaurant that exists in the present day, long after the original Fazbear locations have faded into obscurity. Owned by Jeff, the establishment gives off the impression of a business that has taken over an older space, one that doesn't quite belong to it. Beneath its ordinary exterior lies the ball pit, a disturbing anomaly that acts as a gateway to the past, specifically to the events of 1985. This is Jeff's Pizza, a repurposed location painted over, the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza site. In the Return to the Pit storyline, Oswald's experience with the ball pit introduces us to time displacement in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. Despite being only 10 years old, Oswald is able to leave the restaurant in 1985 and suddenly exist in a version of the world where he is aged to 40. You run out of the alley and find yourself in the middle of Main Street, out of breath and overwhelmed. You wheel in a circle in place. Everything looks the same but also a bit different. The old boarded up buildings look clean and have shops in them. Windows are washed. The front of the arcade extends into the building next to where Jeff's Pizza is in the future. Or the present. Or whatever any of this is. Suddenly time moves forward around you like someone pressed a fast forward button. The world blurs and speeds past and you can barely make out what you're seeing. Cars and people and day and night, over and over with dizzying haste. And then it stops. You look around and see Jeff's is back. The arcade is boarded up. The windows and stores look dull and lifeless, just as you are familiar with. And yet you aren't annoyed by it all, like you usually are, because you realize you are back in your own time. Relief washes over you, and you walk over to Jeff's and onto the sidewalk. But then, you see a reflection of yourself in the window. Your hair has flecks of grey, and your hairline is so far up your forehead, it's basically at the back of your head. Your face is lined. It hits you hard then. Not only has the world around you aged, but so have you. You are now old-like in your 40s. By the end of Into the Pit, Oswald's journey through the pit ultimately brings him closer to his father, mending the quiet distance that had grown between them. After everything he experiences, Oswald gains a new appreciation for his dad, recognizing effort that had always been there, even if it wasn't obvious at first. Oswald's father stands out as someone determined to keep his family grounded, even as the town struggles with dwindling opportunities and families begin to leave in search of work. Despite the economic decline, he chooses stability over uncertainty. As I've previously given the theory that the Bully Bros are the guards we encounter in the first games, from this theory I thought Oswald's father was the Freddy Bro. This adds to the location for Jeff's Pizza, as Oswald's father is staying close to the restaurant in order to act upon any bad event that happens. In Return to the Pit, Oswald's journey takes a darker turn as he becomes fully trapped in 1985, symbolized by his transformation into a character within the arcade game 8-Bit Escape. After completing the game, he's rewarded with a scene at Jeff's Pizza that feels impossibly perfect, children laughing, a lively restaurant, and both his mum and dad beside him, happily sharing a moment that never truly existed. The warmth of this memory is precisely what makes it so unsettling. It isn't real, but a constructed illusion designed to keep him there, anchoring him to the past through a life he wishes he had. If Oswald never returned to 2015, his disappearance would likely follow a familiar pattern within the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. A child going missing at a restaurant triggers an investigation, panic, and ultimately closure. Stories like Find Player 2 and The Scoop reinforce this idea, showing how a single disappearance is enough to shut a location down. In Oswald's case, vanishing from Jeff's Pizza would seal the restaurant's fate as well as bury the truth even deeper, turning the location into yet another abandoned piece of history, its real story lost, just like the child who never came home. In the third game, Phone Dude casually delivers one of the most important lines in the series, "We found one, a real one," referring to the discovery of Springtrap, the original Spring Bonnie suit. The suit wasn't just found randomly, it had been left behind in an abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the location that was the same building later repurposed as Jeff's Pizza. If Jeff's Pizza eventually closed, it would have left the site vulnerable, allowing scavengers like Phone Dude and his crew to break in and recover whatever remained. In that sense, his offhand excitement marks the moment a long-forgotten crime scene was disturbed, bringing Spring Bonnie, and everything it carried with it, back into the present. When using the information provided in the Steam page about the third game, the description reads, 30 years after Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closed its doors, the events that took place there have become nothing more than a rumor and a childhood memory. But the owners of Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, are determined to revive the legend and make the experience as authentic as possible for patrons. Following the second game's release, players have been left with the Freddy Fazbear Pizza location being closed, while an investigation took place. As the Steam description was intended for the player, we can rely on it as a more truer source of information. Freddy's closed in 1987, 30 years later would make it 2017, 2 years after Oswald's journey into the past. 2 years is enough time for Jeff to close and abandon his property. In the end, if Oswald never made it back to 2015, his disappearance would have sealed the fate of Jeff's Pizza. Already a struggling business, it's unlikely the restaurant could survive the fallout of a missing child, especially in a town already in decline. As seen throughout the series, these incidents don't just fade away, they shut places down and bury them. Into the Pit may present itself as a mystery, but the absence of characters like Oswald speaks volumes about the consequences left behind. With Jeff's Pizza closed and abandoned, the building would once again become a forgotten shell, one that may have still been housing the monster of William Afton. In that silence, an opportunity emerges. Someone, perhaps an ally with knowledge of the past, could have passed along the location of the Yellow Rabbit, setting into motion the eventual rediscovery of Spring Bonnie and the horrors that refuse to stay hidden. So following the closure of Jeff's Pizza, we could continue with the third game and the eventual return of William Afton